and thank you for joining me in this week's Session Spotlight. My name is Matt Murphy, the Government and Regional Affairs Director for the Tri-Cities Regional Chamber of Commerce, and welcome. This is the first week of the 2026 legislative session, and it's a short 60-day session, and they have a bunch of work that needs to get done. In this series, we're going to be taking a look at some of the bills under consideration now or in the near future, as well as any bills we are keeping an eye on, kind of tracking. You can track these bills at our website at www.tricityregionalchamber.com. So let's move on to this week's Spotlight. But before we do, I want to thank the Tire Factory, Hayden Homes, and Great Northwest Transport for supporting this video series as policy engagement partners.
Three bills we're going to cover this week include House Bill 2090, Integrating Advanced Nuclear Energy into the State Energy Strategy, House Bill 2107, concerning notice requirements of identified hazards at construction sites, and House Bill 2237 and its companion bill, Senate Bill 5964, reducing environmental impacts associated with bags provided to customers at retail establishments.
We're going to kick things off this week with House Bill 2090, Integrating Advanced Nuclear Energy into the State's Energy Strategy. House Bill 2090 would tell Washington to include advanced nuclear energy in the state's long-term energy strategy, meaning the state would study how new nuclear technologies could help meet future energy needs and climate goals alongside other clean energy sources. The advantages to Washington State include that it could lower long-term energy costs. It may attract investment and jobs in the advanced nuclear energy sectors. It supports statewide competitiveness with other states, also exploring advanced energy technologies. And finally, it helps energy-intensive employers plan for stable, low-carbon electricity over decades. The next bill we're going to check out is House Bill 2107, concerning notice requirements of identified hazards at construction sites. At its core, this bill is about how fast safety information moves after an inspection finds a serious hazard. When problems are identified early, it gives employers a better chance to fix them before someone gets hurt and before a project gets knocked off schedule. House Bill 2107 updates Washington's workplace safety law by asking the Department of Labor and Industries to make a good faith effort to notify the employer or owner within 10 working days when an inspection immediately identifies a hazard that could injure a worker.
Last on our list is a pair of bills, House Bill 2237 and Senate Bill 5964, reducing environmental impacts associated with bags provided to customers at retail establishments. House Bill 2233 and Senate Bill 5964 could change Washington's rules for bags stores and restaurants give customers. It would strengthen the statewide ban on single-use plastic carry-out bags, require higher pass-through charges that businesses keep when they provide certain bags, and set new standards so that paper bags must include recycled or renewable content. The goal is to cut down on plastic waste and litter, but it also creates new day-to-day impacts for businesses handing out bags at checkout or through delivery. Finally this week, I want to check in on a few bills that will be coming up on the roster here soon. The first is Senate Bill 6026. This bill requires Washington cities and counties with 30,000 people or more to allow housing in commercial and mixed-use zones by banning rules that force ground floor retail as a condition for residential permits, with limited exceptions for places like industrial areas, critical areas, and historic sites. Next, we have House Bill 2105, the Immigrant Worker Protection Act, which requires employers to notify workers about federal I-9 and record inspections, limits voluntary access to employee records without a warrant or subpoena, and adds anti-retaliation rules and severe penalties enforced by the Attorney General's office. The last bill we're going to check in on is House Bill 2186. It creates a Department of Commerce program and a dedicated account to provide matching funds that help Washington communities compete for federal economic development grants, with awards scored by impact and fit with state priorities, and a required study due in 2027. That wraps up this week's Session Spotlight. Thank you for joining us. You can learn more information on these bills and others at the Tri-City Regional Chamber of Commerce Legislative Advocacy website at www.tricityregionalchamber.com.